There is a law, silent, invisible, but unfailing, that governs wealth. It is not the grasping of hands, nor the straining of effort that brings riches. It is the magnetic power of the spoken word, the fearless faith that God is your supply, and the joyful knowing that all you require is already prepared for you. When one lives in fear of money, when one worries about bills, debts, or lack, he is chasing money and money flees. But when one speaks with authority, affirming, I am in perfect harmony with the supply of the universe, money flows to me freely and joyously. God is my unfailing source of prosperity. Then the law is set in motion. Money no longer needs to be pursued. It comes running after you, for you have called it forth by divine right. Many people struggle in vain, thinking riches are earned only by toil, but I tell you, wealth comes through alignment, not anxiety. God has already stored up treasure for every man and woman. The law makes money your servant, not your master. When you stand fearless, when you bless money and see it as divine substance, it hastens to you. I have seen it happen. People who declared the word with steadfast faith found checks arriving unexpectedly, debts canceled, new opportunities revealed. What seemed impossible was suddenly made possible, because the law had been spoken into action. Therefore, say often and with joy, I do not run after money. Money runs after me. I am a magnet for divine abundance. My riches now come from unexpected channels, under grace in perfect ways, and so it is. Fear is the great enemy of supply. When a man or woman looks at money through the eyes of fear, they are looking at a shadow, not reality. Fear whispers, there is not enough. Fear says, what if I lose? What if it does not come? What if I cannot pay? And in those very questions lies the snare, for what you fear you attract, and what you expect you draw unto yourself. The fearful man is forever chasing money, as though it were some wild animal that must be captured and held tightly, and yet the more he runs, the further it escapes him. Fear is a magnet, but it is a magnet for lack. Faith, on the other hand, is the mighty attracting power. Faith says, I have all that I need. My supply is infinite and unfailing. God is my source, and God never fails. And when one holds to this truth without wavering, the law sets itself in motion. Faith is not a struggle, nor is it an anxious waiting. It is a calm inner knowing. The man of faith does not run after money, for he knows that money must come to him. He stands still, he speaks his word, and he waits in perfect assurance, and in the perfect moment, supply hastens to his door. I once knew a woman who lived always in dread of lack. She feared that bills would overwhelm her, that she would not have enough to provide for herself, and so she was constantly speaking words of want. She would say, I cannot afford this, or I don't know how I shall manage. And indeed she could not afford, and she never could manage, for her words of fear kept her locked in the prison of limitation. One day she came to me in tears and said, why does prosperity not come to me? Why am I always in want? And I answered, because you are chasing money with fear, and money flees. Turn about, stop running, stand still and know that God is your source, and money must run to you. I gave her an affirmation, and I told her to speak it daily with joy and thanksgiving. I walk in faith, not fear. Money comes to me easily and freely. I am a child of God, and all that is mine by divine right now hastens to me. At first she said the words with trembling, for the habit of fear was strong within her, but little by little, faith grew, and fear dissolved. And when her words began to carry conviction, miracles appeared. She received a letter from a distant relative, with a gift enclosed. A friend offered her work she enjoyed. Opportunities opened one after another, and she laughed as she told me, money is chasing me now. This is the law. Fear is resistance. Faith is attraction. Fear places a wall between you and your supply. Faith removes the wall and opens the way. Fear sees lack. Faith sees abundance. Fear says, there is not enough. Faith says, there is always more than enough. And as you believe, so it is done unto you. So many live in bondage to fear, fear of poverty, fear of debt, fear of tomorrow. But no man can serve two masters. You cannot serve fear and faith at the same time. You must choose. If you live in fear, money will always seem far from your reach. If you live in faith, money will pursue you, for you have called it forth by divine law. The world says, work harder, strive more, struggle longer, and then perhaps you will have enough. But Spirit says, be still, and know that I am God. Speak the word, and it shall not return void. The law is exact. What you fear comes upon you, and what you have faith in manifests for you. Therefore, never entertain fear of lack, for it is a false picture. Refuse to allow it entry into your mind. Replace every thought of want with the assurance of supply. Say often, God is my supply, and God never fails. I am rich in divine substance, and riches now manifest in visible form. Fear is only faith inverted. It is faith in evil instead of good. It is faith in lack instead of plenty. It is faith in failure instead of success. Why should you give power to shadows when the substance of all things is yours? The only reality is God, and God is abundance. The only truth is supply, not lack. Fear is an illusion, and when you strip it away, the truth of prosperity shines forth. Therefore, choose faith. Choose to look beyond appearances. If the purse seems empty, say within yourself, this purse is filled with the riches of God. If the debts loom before you, say these debts are cleared by divine law, and money flows to me in perfect ways. Refuse to chase money. Refuse to bow before it. Stand tall in faith, and money will bow before you. The fearless man knows that what is his cannot be withheld from him. He does not grasp, he does not clutch, he does not beg. He stands, serene and confident, knowing that the supply is already his, and that all things will come at the appointed time. It is not his work to chase, it is his work to believe, and as he believes, the law fulfills itself. Money begins to appear, sometimes through channels expected, sometimes through channels wholly unexpected, but it comes, because the law cannot fail. Just as a magnet draws iron filings, so faith draws riches. The stronger the magnet, the greater the attraction, and the stronger your faith, the swifter money hastens to you. Fear repels, faith attracts. Let that truth take root in your heart. Whenever you feel fear rising within you, cast it out with the word of faith. Replace the trembling with trust. Say, I fear nothing. I live in faith. I walk with God, and all that is mine now comes rushing to me. Then watch as the unseen law brings money chasing after you, eager to serve the fearless soul. When once the fear is cast out and faith takes its place, the eyes are open to a higher truth, that money which the world calls material is in truth divine substance made visible. It is not mere paper, nor metal, nor figures written in a book. It is God's own energy clothed in form, ready to serve those who recognize its true nature. The great error of mankind has been to either worship money as a god or despise it as an evil thing. But money is neither to be worshipped nor despised. It is to be understood, blessed, and used rightly, for it is one of the channels through which God's supply manifests. The moment a man sees money as substance, his relationship with it is transformed. No longer does he clutch at it in fear, nor reject it in false pride. He welcomes it as a friend, as a servant, as an obedient expression of divine law. I have often said, there is no evil in money. The evil lies only in man's misuse of it. For money, like all of God's gifts, is good and very good when it is recognized as part of the divine plan. A woman once came to me who had lived in lack for many years, and her conversation revealed her error. She would say, I do not care for money. I do not need it. I prefer to live simply without it. Yet her life was filled with struggle and bitterness, for she could not pay her rent. She could not provide for her children, and she was forever in anxiety. I said to her, "You cannot reject money and hope for peace, for money is divine substance, and to despise it is to despise a channel of God's supply. Bless it, honor it, welcome it, and it will multiply for you." I gave her an affirmation. I see money as God's substance, ever flowing to me, ever circulating in my life, bringing blessings to myself and to others. I bless money and call it good. At first she resisted, for the thought of blessing money seemed strange to her. But as she continued, her heart softened, and she began to feel gratitude instead of disdain. Soon opportunities opened before her. A position was offered to her that met her needs abundantly, and she learned to handle money joyously and wisely. She told me, "When I began to see money as God's substance, it ceased to be a stranger and became a faithful companion." You see, as long as money is regarded as merely material, it is unstable and uncertain. But when you lift it up in your thought as spiritual substance, it becomes anchored in the law, and the law knows no lack. Divine substance is infinite, eternal, unfailing. When you claim money as that substance, you link yourself to an inexhaustible fountain. The scriptures tell us, "The silver is mine, and the gold is mine, saith the Lord." All money is God's money, for He is the source of all substance. To think of money as separate from God is to cut off the supply. To think of it as one with God is to open the floodgates of abundance. Therefore, never speak lightly or contemptuously of money. Do not say, "It is hard to get," or "it is scarce." Those words are snares of the world. Speak instead from truth. Money is God's substance in action, and it flows to me now in ever-increasing measure. I once declared for a student who was heavily burdened with debt, "God is the substance of all that you owe. God is the substance of the money that pays this debt." Divine substance is moving now in your direction, and your debt is wiped out under grace. And so it was. The very next week, unexpected funds arrived, and the debt was cleared in full. Not because money is a material thing to be hoarded or lost, but because money is substance, and substance cannot fail. If you would see money chase you, you must see it rightly. See it not as master, but servant. See it not as something outside of you, but as an outpouring of the substance within you. The same divine intelligence that created your body, your breath, your heartbeat, is the source of every coin and every note. When you recognize this, fear of money vanishes, and misuse of money is corrected. You begin to handle it with reverence, with joy, with freedom. You circulate it gladly, knowing that divine substance is never diminished, for what you give returns multiplied, and what you hoard in fear is lost. This is why Jesus said, "Give, and it shall be given unto you." Giving releases substance, fear hoards it and cuts off the flow. When you give joyously, you declare that substance is infinite, and by that declaration, the law brings more. Money, like water, must circulate. If you dam it up, it stagnates. If you set it free, it rushes back in fresh supply. So speak daily to money as divine substance. Say, "You are not my master, you are my servant. You are God's substance in visible form, and you come to me now in perfect ways. I bless you, and I send you forth to bless others, knowing you return to me multiplied and overflowing." Then watch as money becomes your obedient messenger, running after you, carrying blessings wherever you go. And thus we see that money is not to be feared, nor chased, nor despised. It is to be understood, honored, and claimed as part of the great river of divine supply. Once you know this truth, money loses its hold of terror or temptation. It becomes what it was always meant to be, a channel through which God's abundance flows freely to you and through you, unceasing, unfailing, and ever new. Now, when once you have seen money as divine substance, the next great lesson is this. You must stop the useless chasing and begin to align yourself with the law. For money cannot be caught by pursuit, but it rushes to the one who is in harmony with it. Many live their whole lives chasing money, running after jobs, opportunities, schemes, and yet the more they chase, the more money slips through their fingers. They are like a man running after his own shadow, never realizing that if he would but stand still in the light, the shadow must come to him. Chasing money is born of fear and impatience. Alignment is born of faith and certainty. When you chase, you declare that money is outside of you, that it is something you must strive for and capture. But when you align, you know that money is already yours by divine right, that it flows naturally to its rightful owner. Alignment is not effort, it is receptivity. It is the art of standing in your rightful place and allowing the law to fulfill itself. I recall a young man who came to me, weary and worn from striving. He said, "I have worked harder than anyone I know, yet money eludes me. I try one plan after another, but it all collapses." And I said to him, "You are chasing money, and money is running from you. Turn about. Stop running. Stand still in faith, and align yourself with the truth that God is your source. Do not run after money. Let money run after you." I gave him an affirmation. I am in perfect alignment with divine abundance. What is mine by divine right now hastens to me without effort, without strain, without anxiety. I rest in the law, and the law fulfills itself. He began to speak it daily, releasing his anxious striving, and soon opportunities arose effortlessly. Work that he loved, friends who supported him, doors that opened without struggle. He came to me with shining eyes and said, "It is as if money found me the moment I stopped hunting for it." And I replied, "It did, for the law never fails." Alignment means putting yourself in tune with the source. It means thinking, speaking, and acting from the consciousness of abundance, not lack. It is like tuning an instrument. If one string is out of tune, the whole harmony is spoiled. So if your thoughts are fearful, your words are negative, your actions are desperate, you are out of tune with prosperity. But if you tune your thoughts to faith, your words to blessing, your actions to gratitude, then you are in perfect harmony, and money must flow to you as surely as sound flows from a tuned instrument. Chasing belongs to the world's law of struggle. Alignment belongs to the divine law of grace. The world says, work harder, push more, never rest, and perhaps you will succeed. But Spirit says, be still and know. Stand in faith, speak your word, and the supply shall appear. The chasing mind is restless, anxious, forever grasping. The aligned mind is calm, confident, serene, knowing that the law is already at work. Think of the flowers in the field. They do not chase the sun, yet the sun shines upon them. They do not run after the rain, yet the rain nourishes them. They are aligned with the rhythm of life, and all they need flows to them in perfect timing. So it is with you. When you stop chasing and begin aligning, your supply comes without effort, without strain, without delay. For the law provides all in season. Many people ask me, but how do I align myself with abundance? And I answer, by your word, by your thought, and by your vision. Speak words of faith, not fear. Say, I am rich in divine substance. My supply is unlimited. I am in harmony with the riches of the universe. Think thoughts of abundance. See yourself as prosperous, provided for, blessed in every way. Refuse to picture lack. Refuse to rehearse poverty. Refuse to speak of want. Set your vision on abundance, and hold it steadfastly. For what you see with the eye of faith shall soon appear in visible form. I knew a man who was forever saying, I must chase this deal. I must catch this opportunity before it passes. And indeed, every opportunity slipped through his hands, for he was chasing shadows. But when he learned to say, "What is mine by divine right can never pass me by. What belongs to me comes without effort, without struggle, without fail," then the very opportunities he once feared losing came back to him, and money flowed without his pursuit. You see, chasing is born of the belief in separation. It believes money is apart from you, far off, something to be caught. But alignment knows that money is part of you, that it is divine substance moving in harmony with your word. And when you are aligned, money hastens to you, drawn by the magnet of your faith. So I say to you, cease the weary chase. Stop running after shadows. Turn about and face the truth. Say, I no longer run after money. Money runs after me. I am aligned with the divine flow of abundance. All that is mine by divine right now hastens to me, under grace, in perfect ways. And when you say it with conviction, when you believe it with the quiet certainty of faith, you will see the law at work. Opportunities will come without struggle. Money will appear without strain. Blessings will multiply without effort. For you are no longer the beggar chasing coins. You are the heir, aligned with infinite substance, and all that the Father has is already yours. When once you have ceased chasing and have come into alignment, then you discover the mighty instrument by which alignment is maintained, the spoken word. For the spoken word is the key that unlocks supply. It is the decree that sets the law in motion. What you say with authority, in faith, must come to pass, for words are not mere sounds. They are spiritual commands clothed in vibration. So many speak carelessly of money, and they wonder why lack follows them. They say, money is hard to get. I can't afford that. There is never enough. And the law answers, very well, so it is. For the law is exact. It gives back to each according to his word. Words of lack bring lack. Words of abundance bring abundance. The world is not moved by your wishing, but heaven and earth respond to your speaking. You may think lightly of a casual phrase, but every word is a seed, and every seed must bear fruit after its kind. If you plant words of fear, you reap a harvest of want. If you plant words of faith, you reap a harvest of riches. That is why I tell my students, guard your words as you would guard a treasure chest, for out of your mouth flow the riches or the poverty of your life. I remember a man who was forever saying, I am broke. I never have enough. He spoke it jokingly. He spoke it habitually, and the law fulfilled his decree. He lived in perpetual lack, not because supply was withheld from him, but because his own words repelled it. When I told him, stop saying you are broke, speak instead that you are rich, he laughed and said, but that would be untrue. I replied, no, it would be the only truth. For in spirit you are already supplied. You have been lying against truth by saying you are poor. Speak the truth, and the truth will set you free. He began to declare, though weakly at first, I am rich. Money comes to me now, easily and joyously. The habit of lack had strong hold upon him, but the word of faith, spoken daily, broke it. Soon his finances shifted, opportunities appeared, and he said in wonder, it seems my words are chasing money for me. And I answered, no, it is your words that have called money to chase you, for the word is power. The word goes forth, and does not return void. It creates after its own kind, and it cannot be stopped. That is why Jesus said, by thy words thou shalt be justified, and by thy words thou shalt be condemned. For words are the commands by which we shape our world. Therefore, if you would live in abundance, speak abundance. If you would see money chase you, command it with your word. Say, money comes to me now, freely and joyously, under grace, in perfect ways. Speak it in the morning. Speak it in the evening. Speak it whenever doubt arises, and hold fast to it until the outer world shapes itself to match the inner decree. One woman came to me with despair in her eyes. She said, "My debts are great, and I see no way out. I have no money coming in, and I do not know what to do." I said to her, "Your supply does not come from the outer. It comes from the inner. Speak your word, and the supply will appear." She said, "But what word shall I speak?" And I gave her this: God is my instant supply. My every need is met this moment. I have abundance here and now. She repeated it with trembling, but she was faithful to it. Within days, unexpected funds came from a source she had long forgotten. Her debts were paid, and she stood amazed. But I was not amazed, for the word had been spoken, and the law had obeyed. You must know, then, that money is obedient to the word of faith. It is not the toil of your hands, nor the anxiety of your mind, that brings prosperity. It is the command of your lips. Speak with authority, and money must hasten to obey. But speak with fear, and money must flee. The law has no choice. It reflects your decree. The word must be spoken, not as a wish, nor as a hope, but as a command. If you say faintly, "I hope money will come," the law hears weakness and delays. But if you say firmly, "Money comes to me now, by divine right, in perfect ways," then the law hastens to fulfill. Authority is born of faith. When you know your words are backed by the infinite power of God, you speak as one having dominion, and the universe answers. So never say what you do not want to see. Never call yourself poor. Never say you cannot. Never declare want. Speak only what you wish to bring forth. Say, "I am rich in divine substance. Money follows me. I live in plenty. My supply is endless." Say it until it is the only language of your heart, and you will see the outer world arrange itself in obedience to your decree. For the spoken word commands supply, just as surely as the captain's command steers the ship. The ship goes where he directs, not where the waves might drive it. So your affairs go where your words direct, not where appearances might suggest. If you speak lack, your ship sails into lack. If you speak abundance, your ship sails into abundance. The law is unfailing, the word is creative, and the result is certain. Therefore, let your words be the instruments of faith. Let your tongue be the scepter by which you rule your financial world. Stand each day as a king or queen, and decree, "All that is mine comes to me now. Money hurries to serve me. My riches are secure, for they are founded in God, and God never fails." And as you speak, so shall it be, for the spoken word commands supply. When once you have spoken the word with authority, you must then expect its fulfillment, and here lies another law: you must expect the unexpected. For supply rarely comes through the channel you watch, but through the channel God chooses. Many speak the word of prosperity, yet they fix their eyes upon one source alone. They say, "The money must come through this job, through this person, through this business," and when that channel seems blocked, they fall into discouragement. But the law is not bound to your reasoning. The law obeys your word, but it chooses its own path of fulfillment, and oftentimes the answer comes from the very place you least expect. Expectation is the open door through which supply enters. If you speak the word but close the door of expectation, you hinder its coming. You must stand ready, watchful, joyful, knowing that the supply is on its way, though you know not from where. The world's way is to calculate, to scheme, to demand from a certain source. But God's way is to surprise, to astonish, to bring forth blessings from hidden springs. When you expect the unexpected, you open yourself to the limitless channels of divine supply. I recall a woman who declared daily for prosperity. She said the word faithfully, but she always added in her mind, "Surely it must come through my husband's business." But his business faltered, and she came to me in distress. "Why has my word failed?" she asked. And I said, "Your word has not failed, but your expectation was limited. You fixed your eyes upon one door, and God chose another. I told her to release the channel, to say, my supply comes from God, and God has countless ways of bringing it to me. I expect the unexpected, and the unexpected now happens. Within a week, an inheritance from a distant relative came to her, something she had never dreamed of. She laughed and said, "Indeed, it was the unexpected." And I answered, "It was the law fulfilling itself in the way of perfect grace." The unexpected is often the mark of divine action, for if supply came always from the channel you anticipated, you would forget the hand of God behind it. But when it comes from a place unseen, you are reminded that spirit, not man, is your source. That is why I tell my students, do not dictate to the law how your good shall come. Speak the word, stand in faith, and then expect the unexpected. Many cut off their own supply by insisting upon one door. They say, if this job fails, I have no hope. If this person does not help me, I am lost. But that is to make man your source, and man is but the channel. The fountain is God, and God never fails. If one channel closes, 1,000 others stand ready to open, but you must be willing to release the channel and keep your expectation upon the fountain. Expectation is faith in motion. It is the assurance that what you have spoken is already on the way. It is like sending out a servant and waiting at the door for his return. You do not question whether he will come back. You wait with certainty. So it is with the word. When you speak it, the law sets out to fulfill it, and you must wait at the door of your heart with expectant joy. But remember, the servant may return by a road you had not considered. That is why you must expect the unexpected. I knew a man who was deeply in debt. He had spoken the word for supply, yet he watched only his business and despaired as it continued to decline. I said to him, "Release that channel. Say instead, my supply is not bound to this business. My supply is infinite, and it now appears through unexpected channels, under grace, in perfect ways." He obeyed, though reluctantly. Within days, he was approached by a friend who offered him a partnership in an entirely different field, one he had not even considered. The venture prospered beyond measure, and he told me, if I had clung to my old business as my only source, I would have missed my blessing. This is the freedom of divine supply. It is never limited, never confined, never bound to one path. If you would live in abundance, you must let go of the belief that your good can come from only one direction. You must expect it from every direction. Look to the east, to the west, to the north, to the south, and say, every door is open, every channel is free. My supply comes swiftly, and I welcome it now, in ways I cannot imagine. Then watch as the unexpected happens, and money chases you from channels you never dreamed possible. Some say, but is it not dangerous to expect? What if nothing happens? And I reply, expectation is never wasted when it is based upon the word of God. If you expect lack, lack comes. If you expect abundance, abundance comes. The law is exact. Therefore, expect only the good, and only the good shall appear. So do not trouble yourself with how, or when, or through whom the supply shall come. Speak your word, align yourself with faith, and then live in joyous expectation. Be like a child waiting for a gift, certain that it is coming, yet delightfully uncertain of the manner. For the Father loves to surprise his children with blessings greater than they imagined. Say daily, I do not limit my supply, I expect the unexpected. My good comes from every direction, and it hastens to me now, under grace, in perfect ways. And when you speak it, believe it, and rejoice in it, the unexpected will indeed appear. The check you never thought of, the opportunity you never saw, the door you never noticed, all will spring open before you, and you will laugh, as many have laughed, and say, truly, money is chasing me, and it has found me in the most unexpected of ways. And when you have learned to expect the unexpected, when you have released all limitation and opened yourself to the infinite ways of spirit, then you come to the great realization: you are the magnet. You are not a beggar waiting outside the gates. You are not a wanderer chasing coins on the wind. You are the center from which riches flow, the magnet that draws all that belongs to you. The law does not send you running after supply. It makes supply run after you because of what you are and what you declare yourself to be. You are not separate from abundance. You are one with it. The same life that flows through your veins flows through every channel of prosperity in the universe. You are not cut off unless you cut yourself off with fear, doubt, or wrong words. The magnet does not strain to attract the iron filings. It simply rests in its nature, and the filings come. So it is with you. When you rest in your true nature as a child of God, prosperity cannot help but hasten to you. But many live as if they were repelling magnets. They say, "I am poor. I have nothing. Life is against me. Money never comes." And they wonder why supply flees. They have set the magnet in reverse, and it drives abundance away. Yet with one change of word, one change of belief, the magnet turns, and instantly money begins to flow back. The law does not delay. It responds the moment you align with truth. I recall a student who came to me in great distress. She said, "Everything goes from me. Whatever money I receive, it slips away. I cannot seem to hold it." And I said, "You are not seeing yourself as the magnet. You are seeing yourself as the beggar. Speak instead, 'I am the magnet of divine abundance. Money clings to me. Money follows me. I radiate prosperity, and all riches hasten to me by right of consciousness." She obeyed, and little by little the tide turned. She no longer chased money. It came to her. Unexpected gifts, steady income, and wise opportunities adhered to her life, and she learned to hold them joyously. She said, "It feels as if money cannot leave me now. It runs after me." And I answered, "It cannot, for you have become the magnet. The magnet draws not by effort, but by nature. You draw by your consciousness, by the words you speak, by the vision you hold. If you see yourself as poor, you attract poverty. If you see yourself as rich, you attract riches. If you walk as one who lacks, lack follows you. If you walk as one who is supplied, supply follows you. The world is but the mirror of your inner state. You must therefore live as if already rich, not in reckless spending, but in rich consciousness. Walk with the bearing of abundance. Speak with the tone of confidence. Give with the joy of plenty, for the magnet of wealth is not stinginess, but generosity. The more freely you give, the stronger the magnet becomes, for you declare that your supply is endless, and indeed, divine substance is endless. I once said to a man who was fearful of giving, "Your hands are clenched shut around your coins. How then can God place new riches in them? Open your hands, give freely, and see how quickly they are filled again." He obeyed reluctantly, but when he saw the return multiplied, his fear vanished. He learned that giving does not diminish the magnet, it strengthens it. You are the magnet when you know who you are. You are not a servant of money. Money is your servant. You are not a follower of riches. Riches follow you. Say daily, "I am a magnet for all that belongs to me by divine right. I radiate prosperity. I radiate success. I radiate abundance. Nothing can be withheld from me, for I draw it all with the power of God within." And as you speak it, believe it, walk in it, live in it. The magnet is not conscious of its own pulling. It simply is. And so must you be. Do not fret. Do not strain. Do not chase. Be still. Know yourself as the heir of infinite abundance, and money will hasten to you, eager to serve, for you are the magnet, and the law cannot fail. The riches of heaven and earth are drawn to you now, from expected and unexpected channels, under grace in perfect ways. And as you stand in this truth, you will see with your own eyes that money indeed chases you, clings to you, and multiplies for you, because you have claimed your rightful place as the magnet of divine supply. So now you see, the law that makes money chase you is not hidden, nor is it far from reach. It is here, in your words, in your faith, in your recognition of God as the one and only source. Fear repels, faith attracts. Money is divine substance. Ever seeking its rightful owner, you do not need to pursue it, for when you align with truth, it hastens toward you. The spoken word commands it, and the unexpected becomes the doorway. And at last, you know yourself as the magnet. You draw not by effort, but by your God-given nature. Therefore, go forth not as one who chases, but as one who receives. Walk as a child of the King, clothed in abundance, radiant with supply. Let every thought declare, I am one with the riches of the universe. I am supplied, sustained, and prospered in every perfect way. And so you will see the proof. Money shall run after you. Opportunities shall cling to you. Blessings shall overflow upon you. You will not strive nor struggle, for the law works without fail. Under grace, in perfect ways, wealth now follows you all the days of your life, and you dwell forever in the kingdom of endless supply.